do the intro. Welcome back, everybody, for another episode of Ladies of the Empire here on our new night, Saturdays, so we don't miss a game when the regular season starts. And boy, do Saturdays have a lot of information to be able to pack into a nice show that happened during the week, because boy, there's a lot that's going on, even with the not really much at all going on. But how are you ladies this evening?
Doing
I'm
well.
doing good. Doing good.
How about you?
So far, so good. Thank you. I'm enjoying it. It's been a very nice Saturday, other than hot, but that's summertime, and just definitely looking into try to pay attention to a lot of positive going on. And, you can't really avoid some of the negative you end up hearing. So you just kind of like breeze through it, get whatever you need out of it and continue on the way. But practice preseason and the start of the regular season. Definitely looking forward to that order. And ladies and gentlemen, don't forget that our training camp has only just started. This is the very first week that we've seen our guys come out there. So let's just remember it's our first week.
3 practices. 3.
It literally feels like 20 practices, but it's really only meant 3.
It does. From all the stuff that's out there, it truly does.
Yes, it does. It really does.
It has definitely been very intriguing, definitely.
She does.
Practice preseason and start of the regular season. How's your first week down of training camp?
Are you talking to me?
Oh, yes.
Oh, sorry. I popped in and I was like, is that for me? I've been a little busy this week. I've popped in and watched a few things, but I think I heard just as I was popping in 3 practices. So take it with a grain of salt. Everything you see, it's about everyone getting some reps and getting used to plays and the team and trying to gel as a unit. So I don't put a whole lot of stock into anything that's happening right at this moment initially. So
yeah.
Absolutely. And you read the different articles, and I have to honestly say most of the articles that I've not necessarily chosen to read, because sometimes you click on something just to see what it's like, and then you accidentally come across something. And you're like, okay, so most of what I've chosen to read has been actually positive. Some of the other things, it's something for people to write about. And you don't really appreciate some of the things because you're like, 3 practices. Come on, people. Let's not get our panties in a bunch. Let's just remember, we're only just starting, and, everybody's going to assume look rusty out there, considering this is finally when people can come in and actually take practicing with their teammates a little bit more seriously. And pads haven't even made it on yet. So that's going to definitely be a different side of the training camp situation. But yeah, it's important to try to stay positive, especially with a lot of the other opinions that are out there. It's just kind of upsetting. And I know PT was talking about this backstage. It's the media that's making it a little rough for everybody to kind of see the positive side and even the lack of inability. And it's not even a lack of anything yet. We're just getting started. The boys need to get warmed up, and media just loves pushing that button, don't they?
Yes. Especially when it comes to the 49ers. Everybody always hates the 49ers. It's funny because I was talking to a friend about this, and I was telling her, I was like, girl, that's nothing new. Like, they've always hated on the 49ers. And they really hated us whenever we were just fantastic and we were, always competing, kind of like we're, starting to go back to now. But when we were at that level, like, everyone just, they can't stand it. And now I think a lot of people can't stand it because we didn't really make that many moves because we didn't have to. And do anything, like, we didn't have to deconstruct the roster, and everything. We got a lot of guys back. And then even in like the tweaking replacements, I mean, we went out and got like the best defensive free agent on the market. And it's possible that we might bring in another one, because I know that the 49ers are also big on Hunter, which just found out that the Vikings are kind of putting fillers out there, you know, about him and stuff, you know, so he's not happy with what's going on there in Minnesota, whatever. So, but there's a lot of teams that wish that they were where we were. So that, you know, the media just decides to just basically just pick on us and just try to start, you know, something, because that's all they can do. They can't do anything else really. So, you know, we've been competitive for a while now, and it, you know, just teams are just jealous. And some of the media's, you know, just like, we got to figure out something to stir up. You know, we can't, you know, keep saying all these, you know, just saying all these great things about this team, you know, because there's really much to say. So let's just stir something up. Oh yeah, let's stir up the quarterback controversy right there and just ride that. And that's what they do. Like on national TV, that's exactly what they do. They talk about the quarterback position and everything.
Because
So.
it's all they have. It really
Right.
is.
That's it. That's all they have.
We
Mhm.
lost D'Amico and brought in Steve Wilkes, and it's been, you know, almost like a plug and play switch, and maybe, you know, in some people's opinion, an upgrade, or, you know, something to add to what D'Amico left behind. So it's not like we regressed in our, you know, defensive coordinator position at all. So you're right that they have to stir something, and the only thing they have is this whole quarterback good problem that we have, right?
Yes. It's a.
I
Go ahead,
definitely agree with you as far as the media goes, but I think the fans need to chill a little bit as well. You know, the media doesn't help, but, you know, fans have to do a little better job of just stepping back and, you know, and thinking before you speak, because a lot of things that I've seen out there have been absolutely ridiculous for both quarterbacks. And, you know, if you're a San Francisco 49ers fan, that's just, you know, or a fan of any team, that's just, it's not a way to be, and it's not okay. It's, you know, and it's really not. And I'm not going to, you know, put out there what I've seen and stuff, but it's not okay to think that way. It's not, like, it's absolutely ridiculous.
And I'm sure that you've seen some of the harsh, like personal stuff that's out there. Because I thought that may have been like, when you started seeing that, I thought that might have been why you started going off, because then you started seeing like the ugly, you know, harsh stuff. There's an ugly part of this fan base that I'm embarrassed to call 49er fans. I'm gonna be 51. I like to say 25 times 2 plus 1, because I'm trying to learn how to say that. But I have been a fan like since I was 8, and I have seen it, and I've never seen so many horrific things that are personal, that have nothing to do with football, that are being said about these quarterbacks. And I'm like, wow, like this is crazy. It's just gotten out of control. The way it's gotten so personal. There's a lot of name calling out there amongst people and everything. And I'm like, God, man,
Right.
we're literally just trying to get our 6th Lombardi and then go from there and keep, you know, going. Because we were the first one to get to 5. And I really thought that we would have 6 by now. So the fact that we, you know, don't have 6, we're just trying to get to 6. But there is some horrible stuff out there. Like, I've had to block a couple of people, mute people, because it's nasty. It has nothing to do with football.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you're disgusting.
And it kind of takes the fun out of it.
It does.
Not that it necessarily takes the fun out of you being a fan, but just, you know, wanting to collaborate with other fans, or, you know, just be able to, you know, share your opinion with each other. And you don't have to say the same thing, but, you know, when you're all rooting for the same team and you're drawing lines in the sand, you know, it just kind of, it gets a little upsetting and disheartening, because, you know, you're not trying to pick fights with anybody, with, you know, just like we said, you know, it's training camp. That's all it is. Everything can change. Every single thing can change. And even when they have the 53-man roster and the game starts, unfortunately, things do change, and we just need to remember that as long as we keep up the faith and we're positive, we can't predict the future. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, and we just always want to hope for the best because absolutely everybody wants that number 6 trophy, and we won't get there any quicker as long as the fan base is divided, because then we're going to pick fights like the Raider fans do at the stadium. No, we got more than that.
That's where I was going to go is, when we do travel and we're on the road, these are the people that you're like, no, that's not how we behave when we're traveling. We make friends with the people in the seat, and we have a good, fun, friendly competition. We're not on the field playing. So why am I going to have any kind of, harsh, whatever conversation or get in a fight, or what have you at the game. So you have these people going out there with those kinds of attitudes. It's always like, hopefully they're not going to the games.
Yeah.
Stay home, watch it on TV.
Yeah.
Be on the keyboard. Don't go to the game if that's your attitude, because that's not what we do.
It's
Absolutely.
it's like we it's like people have got to understand, like, it's okay to have favorite players.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. But you shouldn't have to disparage one player to bring up another player.
Right.
And that's what I don't like. I don't like the fact that there's this nitpicking going on, with this player, blah, 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 and this player. And it's like, you can have favorites. We all have favorites. I mean, my favorite, Frank Gore, is anyway, I know we're going to get to that, but it's okay to have them, and you can have, players that you love and you root for, on the team, and that's fine. But you don't have to put another player down to pick up another player. Like, you should just be able to just, anyone who is a 49er is a great player, because that's what we have that a lot of other teams do not. We have depth, we have everything, we have all this energy and great players. So whoever is picked to start or whatever and go out there is a great player. And because iron sharpens iron, and the best 53 are what's going to be out there in the end, because of our great coaching staff we have, because of our defensive coordinator that is so experienced, that he's just amazing. And I'm so excited to have him here, because I feel like he just came in and kind of tweaked, kind of a couple of things. And I'm just so excited about this team. But I just wish that people would just realize that you don't have to badmouth a player in order to pick up your players. That's what I don't like.
Everyone has an opinion. Just respect it and move on.
Right.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah.
Be patient, trust the process, and just enjoy the ride, because I believe, just like many other fans, this is going to truly be a very special year, and we all just hope for the best.
Yes.
But to continue on with this night's show, Jerry Rice boldly proclaims that the 49ers should win Super Bowl 58. Now, can we agree with Jerry Rice?
Absolutely.
Yep. 100%.
Yes.
There is just way too much going on with the Niners to not see that happen. And as long as the Niners aren't getting in their own way, I don't believe anything could stop them, especially with as close as they were able to get last year. And the many other years, we've had, unfortunately, failed attempts, but I don't believe any attempt really is a failed attempt.
Right.
And, sometimes it is Super Bowl or bust. But when you think about it, it's hard for many teams to get even to the playoffs, and let alone an NFC championship or even a Super Bowl. So it just shows kind of a pattern of, the road that these Niners have been taking, and they finally have the high ground. And it's nice. It really is, because this is what they deserve. They're finally going after that piece of pie because they deserve it. And
yes,
I'm definitely looking forward to it. And Jerry Rice, every time when you see him, he's always there faithfully. Red and gold faithful when he was wearing the jersey, and red and gold still now. And it's just, that's one of those guys I really like to be able to shake hands with, or at least get close enough.
I know, me too.
He's amazing to meet. He's so charismatic. He really is a very smooth operator. I have my one of my Sports Illustrateds from my childhood, because I'm only 29 like you, Peachy, but in that range of 29ness. So I have Sports Illustrated from when I was a kid, and I have that signed. And then the picture, as soon as he signed it, he goes, "Now I need you to come around here." He goes, "I want you to put your hands on my both of my shoulders." He goes, "Now give me a big squeeze." And I'm like,
Died.
Sherry, and he smelled so good. Like it.
God, I would have died. I did.
I was like, oh
Yeah.
my God, Sherry Rice.
This year though is like, somebody was asking me, they're like, why are you so confident in this year? And I'm like, because we had players that took less to stay here because they believe in this team. And I believe when you have people, you know, that are all joined together and they believe, you know what I'm saying? That means that they are going to put their mind, their body, and their soul into making that happen. And I believe that is what is going on. I mean, because every player that's been asked about it, yeah, you know, we're, you know, whatever. And it's like Tony said, we've came so close so many times. Like, we're due. Like, it's like we are due. Like, we paid our dues, you know, we are due. And the way that this organization has built the depth is what I'm more excited about, you know, because you don't wear people out. You don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're able to rotate defense finally, you know, and you have these fantastic players that are just, and I'm so excited about this season because I really feel like that this is our year to do this. I feel sick so bad, like more than I ever have before. Like, we're not surprising anybody. We're just going for it. And I'm so happy about it because I just really feel six coming this year. I really do.
Well,
Absolutely.
I think we're going to run downhill. We're going to run straight at him. Everyone knows what the roster we have.
Mm-hmm.
We're built for football. And Bill Walsh said, champions behave like champions before they're champions. So, you know, these guys have their head in the game. They're ready. They know where we got last year. It was on the tip of their tongue and they could taste it. And it was ripped right away. So they're hungry for it. They're going to be playing with championship mentality. And I think that really, really speaks well for us. And you're absolutely right. The depth of this roster is going to only help keep everyone healthy, get everyone some rest when they need it, and you know, avoid some of those crazy injuries. You know, the McCaffrey model in Carolina, where he's the only tool in the toolbox, and they only use it until it breaks, and then they're without anything in the cupboard. So I think the rotation and the depth is just something that a lot of teams don't have and wish they did. You're 100%.
We have the leadership, we have the experience, we have the playmakers. It's all there.
Yep.
And speaking of how we've had different players renegotiate their contracts in the heart of the team instead of their pockets, do you believe that is what's going on with Bosa? Or do you believe the Niners are going to be making sure that he gets paid exactly what he deserves?
He's getting paid. He's going to get mid-30s. He's
getting paid.
Yeah. He's definitely getting paid. I think what it is I think it's probably language. It's probably what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the money, because even John was saying that, you know, that they've already set this aside. Like, they already knew, you know, like what they were going to be up against with this money. I think it's contract language. The Bosas, like him and Joey, like they literally, like Joey did this too. Like you know, like the language just has to be, you know, just agreed upon the way they want it, you know, and all these things. And I think Bosa's going to get paid sometime next week. Breezy made a prediction that he thinks that is going to be paid like by Wednesday or something like that. And I agree with that. I think that, you know, next week sometime, I think Bosa's going to we're going to hear about it, that the contract's been done and finalized.
I was hoping it would be done by Monday.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, I agree with you. I think it is the language. I seem to think that he did the same thing when we drafted him as well.
Yes, he absolutely did.
Yeah. So
how much is guaranteed? You know, what's front loaded? You know,
right?
All of those little clauses that are impactful
Injury,
later
you
on.
know,
So,
stuff because he's been hurt, you know, before where he's missed, you know, practically a season, you know, and that kind of stuff. So there's probably all kinds of little knickknack, especially now, you know, with like the new, you know, with the CBA and, you know, everything and trying to get
Mhm.
that also is different. So you have like a lot of stuff that you have to read through and, you know, all these things. And knowing Parag, you know, he's trying to wheel and deal, of course, because that's what he does. He's trying to see how we can, you know, get this to where this benefits us as well, because that's what the 49ers do. Like, it always also, you know, benefits the 49ers and it benefits the players. So it's just language, structure, something like that.
And it not only has to work for this season, but Parag's looking at
Yes.
next season, the year after, you know, the next
Mhm.
3 or 4 seasons, because
For
Yep.
long term.
you have other people you're going to have to extend and
Yes.
restructure and try to make the money work. So,
Absolutely.
you know, I'm sure there's some complex formulas that he's looking at and
Mhm.
trying to negotiate some of those numbers to make all the wheels work.
Absolutely. And I believe when the Niners had reached out and used their 5th-year extension for Bosa for that contract, I do believe at that time they had their solid number, you know, give or take a few dollars, but I believe they had, you know, the number that they already knew they were going to be up against when it came to this time around to make sure that Bosa is not going anywhere. Even though I don't think Bosa would want to go anywhere, but like anybody who wants to secure their future wants to make sure that, hey, you know, money does talk. I'm not BSing, but I will walk, and we just don't want to see that happen. And it's just nice to know that, you know, when the 49ers organization does come out with the nice details of what Bosa's bank account might look like, that's
We all wish we could have just a little taste.
definitely. Can I just hold the check for a minute? Take my
Dip my finger in the icing, just a little.
But what is the coolest about it is the way that, you know, the NFL owners, like, his signing bonus is probably going to be huge, because that's what happens. You know, the owner, you know, goes in them big old deep pockets and, you know, like, I can go ahead and give him this for a signing bonus and we'll do this and whatever. So it won't, as far as counting against the cap, we probably won't even tell it. We probably won't even be able to tell because John, like John said, they've already planned for this for years. Like, they knew this was coming. So they seem to be on it. You know, every time you think that a player, you know, like, I still remember Kittle, you know, before he got paid. You know, you had people that were like, oh, you know, maybe the 49ers can't afford to do it and he's going to go somewhere else and he's going to do that. Or, you know, he's going to be underpaid, you know, and all this stuff. And dude got paid. Like, his signing bonus was huge. And he got paid. So, yeah. Bosa is going to be very, very, very happy. I'm sure he's going to be very happy. The teams are going to be upset. You know, other teams are when they have players that go, but there's not many that are on Bosa's level. So, you know, a team should be like, hey, that's not you. That's not
You're the defensive player of the year, right?
Definitely. You know, not just his skill set, but also just the way that he just stays in shape. Like, right now, he's not at training camp.
Yes.
Nobody's worried about it because, you know, the only people that's worried about it are the people who are talking about it, which are, you know, the narratives, you know. But we already know Bosa comes into shape. He stays in shape. I don't think that man's been born out of shape. Like, that man, his body just is like sculpted from a god himself. I'm not too sure, but it's just like, oh my gosh, that him is going to
Family mold, right?
Yeah, I'm a Buckeye fan, and so I watched him, you know, the whole time when he was at Ohio State, and he's never won. Like, that's never been a problem for him. Like, he's a workout, you know, he's a crazy man. Like, he's a workout crazy man. Like, that's what he does.
makes it easy to secure a deal for that guy. And
Yeah.
him is not an issue.
Right.
Now, Mitch Wishnowsky, have we seen or read about his unfortunate non-football injury? Apparently, he was lifting some weights off-site, so nowhere near a 49ers training camp, and actually strained his back. So he has some sort of a back injury. It didn't really lead on to how significant this injury is. It just stated that his back injury, which occurred while Mitch was lifting weights away from the team facility. And then John Lynch, according to what he had said, was that the team won't be looking into replacing Wishnowsky but he is unfortunately on an injured list. Is this something the Niners need to be concerned about?
Think since then he has passed his physical and he was
Yeah,
taken
yeah,
off.
that's
He
what I
was
was gonna
removed from the
say, yeah.
NFI list.
Mhm.
Okay,
I think
perfect.
he's off now already. Like it was,
Mhm.
yeah, short lived.
Okay. Oh, very good, because that was very concerning. And you read into that stuff, and you're just like, oh no, not yet.
Yeah.
We're not gonna.
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah.
And the next one, cornerback Daryl Luter Jr., who, one of our little prospects that we've been able to pick up during the offseason, was looking good when he was playing, but unfortunately had overextended his knee and had a deep bone, what do they call it? A deep bone sore bruise. Yeah, bone bruise.
Mhm.
So he's going to be out for quite a few weeks. And then they have picked up another cornerback, Terrence Mitchell, and signed him to a 1-year deal. Do we think that this is going to do we believe, first off, that Daryl Luter ever really had a chance for a roster spot? And if he did, does this kind of lower his chances of ever being a 49er on a 53-man roster?
It certainly doesn't help his case. I mean, it's already a deep competition there anyway.
Yes.
Between the draft. I mean, he was one of our fourth pick, so we must have been pretty high on him. I'm sure he'll get, rehabbed and put on the practice squad, and hopefully we get something out of him next year. But I think if he's got a deep sprain, bone bruise, he's going to definitely fall behind on the depth chart in the competition, unless he comes back and, shoots rainbows and sunshines out his, what.
Absolutely.
He's going to have a hard time making the roster.
I think it definitely it opens the door for guys like Samuel Womack and Ambry Thomas.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Ambry Thomas, you could definitely tell he's trying to maintain his position on that roster. When the whirlwind goes around and you're looking like the odd man out, you definitely are either going to be stepping up or stepping out.
Yeah.
I don't think he wants to go anywhere. And then with the 49ers signing that Terrence Mitchell guy,
Mhm.
he just can't body. Do you think
Sorry.
he's just
Sure.
definitely shake that dirt? Do we think that Terrence Mitchell guy, that the cornerback that was signed to the Niners for a 1-year deal, is he just a camp body in the meantime?
I think so.
Yeah.
Just a filler.
I was looking into kind of like, anytime when the Niners sign somebody, you go in to kind of get their career detail to figure out, where's the potential of this guy? And then it kind of seems like he seems to be one of the guys that's just signed to practice squads. He doesn't seem to be somebody that's sticking around on a team long enough. And when he does, it's not for very long at all. I think there's only like 2 or 3 opportunities that he actually played, but it doesn't seem to account for a full season, unfortunately. But
yeah, he has an injury history, pretty bad one, and I think that's exactly what you're talking about with him being on, like jumping from team to team, practice squad and thing. That's kind of why, because he's just like a space filler. That's what I'm saying.
Can't body
just
for
to be out there.
competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
all right.
Definitely.
And one of my favorite topics for the day, Jake Moody and Zane Gonzalez kicking their way to the 53-man roster. And how much of a competition is it really? Are we seeing really a competition between these two? And even though it only started just this week, are we expecting to see a real competition, or do we already know Moody's the guy? Despite the fact of what draft pick he was, because I think that might outweigh certain negotiations of who is going to get that roster spot. But if essentially that didn't matter, is there a true competition between these two gentlemen?
See, I don't think so. I think Moody is just a guy, and that's all there is to it. It's like it's there. It's young, fresh legs, which is definitely what the 49ers need. To have a young, fresh kicker that has brand new legs. That to me is, and not just that, but he's really good. I mean, he was even at Michigan, he's just really a real good kicker, and I'm glad that we got him. I know people were upset because we used a draft pick on him, but there was like about 12 teams that were coming to get him, so it's not like because he was the best kicker in this draft, and we got him.
Needed a kicker for sure.
Yes,
Absolutely. I mean, Robbie was looking to go back home or not, retire, whatever he's doing now. I think he's doing a Chicago podcast for sports there. So
that leads that he's probably going to wind up, there eventually. So
he's done.
I think Zane
Zane
Gonzalez is upping his trade value as well.
Yeah, I think you're right, Jess. I was just about to say, I think Zane Gonzalez is out here trying to do his very well best to compete with a kid that can kick from 70 yards.
Right.
And all he's doing is hopefully someone's watching side-eye over here and paying attention. Absolutely right. Because when we cut him, and we're going to have to cut him to 53-man, right?
Definitely.
Someone's gonna pick him right up. Yeah.
So, sorry to interrupt, but there is some breaking news. It's not the 49ers, but it could be important though. Jonathan Taylor has requested a trade from the Indianapolis Colts. They had that huge comment. Yeah, because drunk Irsay, like I like to call him, because he literally just sounds like he just pops pills and just drinks all day when he's talking. Basically just said, I don't think you're worth blah, 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 and this and that. So, and I'm like, wow, okay. So, never know. That's all I'm saying.
That'll definitely be interesting.
Yes.
It's like
when he works.
And the season's not even started. Like,
right.
It doesn't matter, like right now, as far as with the Niners, but Jalen Ramsey. He's going through a torn meniscus surgery, and that's unfortunate for him. But being one of the top names in the league, that's a relief for those who have to play against him. Yes. And then even Joe Burrows, he's not out for indefinitely, but right now he's dealing with that strained calf or whatnot, and early in the season, like camp just barely started. So
yeah.
Definitely.
And I was kind of shocked because I really thought that Cincinnati, or maybe they did, and we're going to hear about it. I wonder if they called the Niners about getting Allen back. Like, hey, you guys are not going to, really need him. You're probably going to wind up cutting him anyway. So why don't you send him back? Because he seemed to do pretty good whenever he was under center out here. And since they're going to be without Burrow for, they could probably really use him. They signed the XFL player, but I'm sure they would rather have their guy Allen that already knows, like what's going on and knows everything. So it would surprise me if they didn't give the 49ers a call and be like, hey.
I'm sure they're watching.
Of course.
Yeah. Looking at who else is out there, but
right.
Imagine.
And thank goodness that it wasn't worse for Burrow, because I swear I thought it was an Achilles when he first went down, just the way he grabbed it and everything.
Yeah.
He dodged a big one there.
Absolutely. I was reading, when they just kind of put the little headliner on there before you read the article, and it said, Joe Burrow is being carted off the field. Like, whoa, what is going on here? It's too soon in the season to be carted off going anywhere.
No.
He still has to be careful, though, because both are connected.
Yes, absolutely. He does. But I do feel for Jalen. It said that his target date's probably like sometime in December.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, we'll see. But you're right. Not having to play, having to worry about him is that's really good for people. But
absolutely.
Yeah.
Happens. I mean, we were all injured, early last year, the first half or year before. Like half the team was
the year before, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. So it happens to everyone. So, can't feel sorry for those guys. No, they're not giving us any sympathy when it's our turn.
Oh, they never do. I mean, they like they don't care. Like it doesn't matter to them who we're missing. At the end of the day, they're like, you line them up out there, and then we're going at them.
Man up.
We see what arrogant Aaron did to us, took advantage of us in the
Mhm.
regular season when we were missing a bunch of people and stuff. Like that's something, he couldn't even beat us in the playoffs, but anyway. So he decided to just kill us in the regular season and act like he won the Super Bowl or something.
Right.
Oh, and Brian, he's brought this up a couple times, but it sure would be funny to see a Niner Jets Super Bowl and then just the Niners come in and just hand it back to Rodgers and like,
Just to
"There,
beat
let's
Aaron.
raise your fire."
One more time.
Good spanking just to give you something to remember us by.
Exactly. He would retire.
Welcome
after that,
to
I
New
promise you he
York.
would.
That would be great.
It would be
That would
awesome.
be so awesome.
Yeah.
I was-
Yeah.
I was reading an article. I don't know if you ladies read into the Mercury News, but every now and again I'll read some of their articles. And the headliner was 49ers All-Pro Trent Williams still ascending at age 35. And then Chris Forrester, who used to work with Trent Williams and then has also came recently to the Niners in 2021, was a run game coordinator for the offensive line, says, as time has gone on, he doesn't look any different. It just shocks me. He moves as well as he always has. Do you believe this man just gets better with age?
I think he gets better the way that they do their practices and how he has a vet day off. And, I think that helps a lot because Chris Forster was saying before that if it was back in the old days where there really was no breaks and, like double sessions and
Had the
stuff like
two-a-days.
that.
Mhm.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think, he probably would have retired already. We wouldn't have 3 more years of Trent.
What I saw from Trent Williams and his comments was he goes out of his way to invite the younger guys to train with him. So he stays hungry. He sees the hunger that they're motivating to him to continue to work hard. So I see that being this little, reciprocal relationship that he has. He likes to hang out with the young guys, so he stays motivated. And the other thing that he said was, I always try to look to last year to see how I could be better. So I see him as this guy that always tries to change with the game, with the new plays, or learn something new and adapt his game. He's not like, I'm the best out here and that's it. I don't have to work hard anymore. He keeps working, he keeps trying, he keeps learning. When you're a relentless learner and you're continuing to build on what you already know, he's going to be fine because he doesn't ever see the ceiling. To him there is no ceiling. So he just keeps working hard and trying to continue to be that guy. So yeah, I think he's only 35. Let's put that into perspective. I know it's football and I know it's hard, but those guys that take good care of themselves and do the right things, they can go
They
a
have the
little
longevity.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And he's definitely proven his value, being the best guy we have on the offense, and him totally understanding that, with his position on the line, how important it is as far as if he makes one simple mistake, one false move, it's breaking the chain. It just leads to an unfortunate series of events, and how important that means for, protecting your quarterback. It's nice to know we have at least him on there, and then him being able to help with the right side of the line that we are trying to transition since the loss of McGlinchey and hopefully the building up into a better right-hand side. It is just hopefully something that these guys can get from his perspective of how great he works, what he puts his mind into when it comes to being the best and only the best. And you just hope that it just, kind of spreads to the rest of the line because, I think one of the things that the Niners line needs to remember is, a lot of these other quarterbacks, their quarterbacks not getting really, you see other quarterbacks getting sacked, and it's great when our defense can go get to them, but we need to just have a stronger of a line to, let's avoid the same situations we've been having to deal with, since Garcia and beforehand of, not having enough strength to back your quarterback, not having enough blocks to give your quarterback the time he needs to, be as great as Brady is. And sure, there probably won't ever be any other Bradys, or maybe there will be better Bradys, but it's just nice to know that the line can kind of be a little stronger than what it has. And then just, all in all know that, the quarterback is a very fragile position and how important it is to maintain that position, because even if you don't have the strongest quarterback, the quarterback is almost the heartbeat of the team. As far as, just the way the whole mechanics of the offense is working. You got to have your wide receivers catch a ball, your running backs receive the ball, and your line, just kind of block for you to get rid of that ball. And it all revolves around that quarterback and making sure that he can do his job properly, and just hope that he can execute every game and just get those points like the boys need to, because that's what we need. We need some point makers. We don't need point takers. We need point makers. And if our defense is going to come out there and be point takers, that's great. Get all the picks you can get, because that only helps. But we want to see we want more points scored by the quarterback, more points scored by the running back or the wide receiver, not, based off the leg of a kicker. And no offense to any of our kickers, they have done a great job. And a lot of the points that were made are based on a kicker's foot or leg. But it would be nice to see that we have some quarterbacks come in that can definitely maintain a better dominance of making sure that they make those points more in the game than just, we won because of a kick. How about for an arm? Let's make sure, regardless if you're throwing down the field or you're jimmy-gimming it, whatever, just let's make some points. Let's make it happen. And, only use the kicker when we absolutely have to, because it's like when the Niners go out there and we're on those situations where, it's like you're neck and neck. I'm tired of seeing the neck and neck games. I want to see the offense be able to keep those 2 to 3 point score leads, where you have 3 touchdowns over the next team. Just keep that, because like any team, they get tired. And, our Niners are great when they can come out with the dominance and get three scores ahead of the team. And then, you're going to go home, hopefully, with them, because that's definitely a great
that's a lot of that's on Kyle. For some reason, Kyle just, he didn't care if you went by 1 or 2 points. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish that we were more like Andy Reid. Like when Kansas City's up, they just beat the crap. Like they'll just keep it going, like run the score up, just like in college or whatever. Like they'll just run the score up. And Kyle just, that it just irks me about him, because he's just, like takes the foot off the gas and no, we're gonna take this person out. We're gonna take this person. Like, no, let's just have some dominant games. Like if we're kicking somebody's, butt, just keep kicking their butt.
Absolutely.
Make a statement. Like have a huge statement game. Like, like the old 49ers used to do, back in the day. We didn't take our foot off the gas. We just freaking whooped the crap out of people.
Those finesse ass 49ers.
On gas, no brakes.
Goodness.
Yeah, that is definitely exciting. Especially when it's kind of like that safety buffer, when everybody gets tired and, the shift of momentum does happen. So it is nice to know that you can get those scores above your opposing team, because when something does shift, it's not going to be against you. You still have the upper hand of, hey, we're still winning this. We can maintain the lead, because that's what kind of stops us. I know a lot of people will say they're kind of nervous. Maybe not a lot of people, but, I've heard different people saying that they're nervous about the Pittsburgh Steelers, and, the Niners do start off a little slow, but it is nice to know that they can come out there with a little bit more force and a little bit more, not that they don't understand their job, but it would be great to see that they have a better dominance of the understanding of how important it is to make sure that you're scoring touchdowns, not just relying on the kick. And points are points, but not when you're looking at 6 points, then a kick versus just 3 points.
All right. Or when you're going into the half and you're already up and you're killing them, and then, when you have a chance to like score again, like a touchdown and get it, and you don't do it. Like that really frustrates me like so bad. Like what's wrong with being up on, somebody by like a whole lot? Because a lot of times what it does is, depending on, your opposing team, is it can mentally just take them out the game. Like they can mentally be through like by halftime. Everybody's not like Tom Brady, that has that mentality where, you can be up on us by 40 something and, we come back and almost beat you, and that kind of stuff. It's like you can literally like suck the life out of a team And then that way, you can just go out there and just play free and easy, practice some things out there, and just have everybody in the game and do whatever. And I just don't understand that Kyle's just not like, even when he was with the Falcons, like he just wasn't, he just didn't do that. And I'm like, just go out there and just beat some ass. Just go out there and just dominate, I would love to see that, 50 something to 17, or something like that. Because
I think the coaches can be scared of the I word.
Yeah.
Which is why they take some players out.
Right.
No doubt. But
Yeah.
I mean, Peachy, to your point, like how many seasons did we just sit and watch? I used to call it watching the Titanic sink in the second half. I'm like,
Yes.
well, cue the music because here comes the Titanic.
Here comes the sad song.
We're up, but
Praise
we
the
should
Lord.
be moving
Goodness.
before. Get the
And you literally like watch it gradually like disintegrate and go down.
Right.
And you're like, wait a minute, the lead was right here. And
the ship is
the lead
listing,
was
we're
right
taking on
here.
water.
And you're on pins and needles and you're like sitting here like shaking and having heart attacks and stuff with 3 minutes left to go in the game because the team, and I'm like, come on,
And here we
man.
are trying to make that last second boot to win.
God,
One field goal when we were
Blood
up,
pressure
winning
going
by 17
crazy.
points at the
Just-
half.
there's no need
Yep.
for all that. Just take them out and be done with them. By the time you get to the fourth quarter, they're mentally ready to go home or whatever. And I just don't get that.
I'm
And
with
that's
you.
right. It's so exciting to see when the Niners, when they win the coin toss at the beginning of the game, and then they defer to get the ball until the second half. I love it when they get the ball in the second half because that for sure is an upper hand. And what's better to not only just receiving the ball in the second half, as long as they maintain the lead during the
Yes.
first half. And that just helps. And then if they can come out at the beginning of the second half and then score again, is like, this is great. You guys
Yes.
did something like, let's keep
We
it
don't have a
going.
good track record the last few seasons. We get the ball back and we're like, oh, they're 3 and out. Really? That's what we do? 3 and
Yeah.
out? Thanks a lot,
That's-
guys.
I'm hoping that we're past that. I'm hoping
I
with
hope so
this,
too.
that we've
too.
got this team, right where we need it, and we've learned from our mistakes, and we know, man, there'd be no 3 and outs, man. We gotta like each time we have the ball, we need to make something happen. If it's just a full goal or whatever, but we do not need to do that because you're right. That is what happens to our lead, really. Is a bunch of stupid 3 and outs.
Yeah.
Because the defense gets exhausted because they're having to come right back out there and do whatever. And it would be nice to be able to cut the defense some slack because when they're out there, they're fantastic. They're golden and they do everything that they can to, take the ball away from the other team. And last year we had like 20 interceptions. We're like tied for the top. And I
Yep.
think we're going to have more this year. Because with that front seven being tight and strong like it is, the quarterbacks are going to be throwing all over the place. They're just going to be all frazzled and whatever. And I see a lot more INTs coming for this secondary this year. And I just want our defense to be able, even though they're able to rotate them out, but to not get tired. Because a lot of times we just lose games at the end of this thing because our defense is just worn out.
Yes. Because the offense can't get
Yes.
the ball more than 3 and out. Like, give these guys a minute to
Yeah.
catch their breath. Exactly. 1 first down. Just give them 1.
Yes.
Just 1. Like,
Steve
2 more
Wilkes is the
minutes.
key to our secondary this year.
What's that?
Steve Wilkes is the key to our secondary.
Yes.
this
Yes,
I
absolutely.
agree. I think that you're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
And I do. I
Gonna
think
be
Shanahan
highly-
does. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I like, when Shanahan's doing everything right, the offense, despite the fact that they do the 3 and outs, when he's doing his job right, as far as managing the time clock, the play clock, it's really great because we can hold on to that ball for almost a whole quarter of the game. And even if you're just getting, just moving the chains, just don't turn the ball, it's upsetting because when the defense does get tired and you can see it because they're like, we just got to the sideline. We literally just took our helmets off. We just got a drink of water and now we have to turn back around and come
Yeah.
back here. It's unfortunate because that Kyle Shanahan and the guys do have it. And then it's kind of interesting because now we're in a total different scenario. We are going to be starting regardless of which quarterback starts. We are in a situation where we're starting with a healthy quarterback,
Yes.
a healthy team, and we're not going to be dealing with a quarterback who the coach either wants or doesn't want, because we know Shanahan has come out and said he likes both of the quarterbacks we have to choose from. We can win with either or. So that right there is, seal the deal. We're starting off already better than we had last year. And then on top of that, the different weapons that we've been able to accumulate along the way is only going to help. And I'm looking forward to not seeing some of the same situations, the same mistakes happen over and over. And, maybe this time around the defense will, have all the time that they need to come out there and ready when they're ready, instead of having to be relied on over and over and over again. Because you see it, and it just gets really overwhelming because of our defense. That's the one reason why, we can kind of maintain certain things. And, when you're not scoring any points, not even getting a field goal,
right,
that does hurt, because you want to score at least some points every possession you have with the ball. And if you can't get the touchdown, well, at least get your kicker close enough to at least get those points, because just turning around, not making anything, the next team's going to come over and score on us, and they're not going to kick no field goal. They're going for the touchdown. And
right.
That's how they just beat us out.
And I feel that our special teams, I hope that, because that also plays a part into it, where we start at, with field position. So that definitely plays a huge part into it, because what irks me more than anything is when we get the ball and we're backed up and we can't move. I think that's what irks the defense more too, because we cannot move. Like, we're literally just stagnant, and I cannot stand this offense to be stagnant. The best part about it, I'm looking forward to, because he's like my favorite player, Christian McCaffrey, a full year with Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Like, starting on, he's so awesome. I watched him when he was at Stanford. He is just amazing. And I always wanted us to get him, because he's in my fantasy running back like almost every single year he's been in the league. I love him. And Carolina, I think Bex was saying, ran him into the ground, because he was their end all be all of everything. Like, they had nothing else that they just ran him so much. And the fact that, which is another reason why he's so happy here, you can just tell he's so happy, because he doesn't have to do everything himself.
Right.
He has plenty of help, and that helps keep, people healthy. Whenever you don't have to be drugged, into the ground all the time and used the wrong way and all these things like this. But just to see Christian McCaffrey out there like this year, just what he did for us just when he came in, last year, and then compared to having a full season with this guy, like, I'm so excited about this offense. It's so good.
Yep.
It's going to be very exciting, because he's definitely been a game changer for the Niners. We have a lot of great players, but since CMC has came around, I think he's definitely rejuvenated our offense a lot, because there is now a lot of things that have opened up as far as different plays and just the way that you can use Christian McCaffrey. He's not just solely run through the middle. He can run however you need him to run, and he's going to be there. And hell, you need him to throw the ball, he could do that too. So that just makes everything nice. Yeah.
Receive. Oh wait, he did that.
Yeah, that beautiful touchdown that he caught in oh my God.
Right?
I'm like, that is amazing.
Yes.
It would be kind of funny to see the man just throw himself a touchdown and score it. It's like, I want to put it past him. I bet he can make that happen. So I know everybody has seen this news, but let's see what everybody has to say about 49ers hire former running back Frank Gore as a front office football advisor. How does that sound?
It's a bit delayed because of that whole sexual assault thing. But
Yes.
that was in the works. It was going to happen months ago, but then it kind of got put on ice until they figured out what was going on with that. So I'm not sure what shook out, but Frank walked away with just a minor charge and a fine. So, I think they let the dust settle from that and made sure that was what they thought it was, and then finally pulled the trigger to hire him. But that was something that was going to happen, I thought, by the end of last year. Yeah.
Definitely. You're right.
we all know how he was as a player,
Mhm.
and this obviously can only help us for sure.
Mm-hmm. 5-time Pro Bowl selection. Been in the league for many years. Been with the Niners for more years, and just the things that he has done for us through the 2010 era, it gave us hope during dark times of being a Niner fan. And
Yeah.
even if all you had to cling to was Frank Gore, he'd give you every bit of reason to hold on to the faith that you had for the red and gold, because he wasn't giving up. And even when he was injured, he'd go to the sidelines, come right back out there, and he was making sure he was going to do the best that he can to make sure
Yeah.
he helped his team, because he knew how much that team relied on him. And what's very inspiring, and I know I've said this time and time again, the man had 2 torn ACLs. He
Mhm.
tore both his ACLs
Oh
in
gosh.
college.
Yep.
And then come
Miami.
out, and then just to have this incredible NFL career is just like, it's amazing. I believe, for all these different athletes, I just would like to know how many different people just look up to this man because of the fact of what he has been through and what he has overcome to be the greatest of all time. And he might not be as great as many others, but he definitely has put in his work and definitely deserves to be one day in the Hall of Fame for sure.
Oh, he's up there, and if you ask me, he should be first ballot, because if you look at some of the players that have went first ballot, with Gore being up, in the top, of that, just because of like all the years of having the yards and the whole 9 yards, like people debate that, and to me, there's not a debate. Like he should literally be first ballot. Because I'm looking at some of the players that have been first ballot. They haven't won Super Bowls either. So, a lot of them have not won Super Bowls either. So, Gore was so amazing. I loved him so much. The spirit that he brought, the intelligence, the football intelligence, like the IQ is just off the charts. And every coach has always said that. They've always said that they never had to, go back and correct something. He is just amazing, and I'm so excited that he's part of us. I cried when he went to another team. I was just like, no, because he just is the heart, and he's really the heart and soul of this team. And like you were talking about, Tony, when you're talking about Bosa, like being in shape all the time, that's how Gore is. Like Gore's a workout machine too. So he had always been that way.
And isn't he into boxing?
Yes.
He is now.
Yeah. But
That's awesome.
he carried this team for some years.
Years,
Like literally on his back. He tried everything he could. So if we get 6, the fact that he will get a rent, man, it almost brought tears to my eyes to think about that.
Yeah.
How that he would get one. And man, I'm so excited because he's here. The inconvenient truth.
Exactly, Peachy. I was going to say the same thing about him being the only bright spark in the offense. Him and Jeff Garcia. We were, how many two win seasons did we have? Those dark days.
God, man,
for so long. It was a lot to watch. But there was Frank Gore, and you're right. I think the two knee injuries. He learned how to take care of his body, and that became a major part of his protocol, and that's part of his longevity, is that he took care of himself.
Yep.
What was interesting to me is that he's going to be on the scouting part of the team. It's not like strength and conditioning, nutrition, none of those things with the guys. Like, here's a guy who's got all these years in longevity. Why would you not want him to impart some of his wisdom with what he's done to take care of his body, to be able to overcome those injuries and not continue to plague him throughout his career, even when he was the only tool in the toolbox, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you see that, and to have him be on the scouting team to go out and be scouting players, I was like, wow, interesting. That's an interesting way to use Frank Gore. I was not expecting that. I really thought he was going to be with the guys, doing something with the players.
Yeah.
And that's going to be really awesome, because we already know as a player what he has to offer. And then just for him to come in professionally and offer his expertise into searching out, regardless of any player, but if it's just solely the running backs, he won't go wrong. He won't steer the Niners wrong in any way, and he's only going to bring the best of the best because he was one of the best of the best. And it's really exciting to just look forward to now and long term, because even past, all the Christian McCaffreys, he's going to be a big part of helping to find all these other CMCs to come in, for the later days of in the future. And that's important. It really is, because when you have a coach that kind of relies on the run game, not saying that that's going to be what the Niners will always be, but they have a great success with the run game. It's important to make sure that you have people that can give you a great expertise into making sure that stays one of the stronger parts of the offense, because we win a lot with that part of the offense. And, you can always throw all these other people in, but a running back is, one of those things that is kind of hard to get through to. And, we already know a lot of them get injured because of the physicality of their specific position to play. But when you can come out of there with less injuries, or, them not be as significant as they are, it's just really nice to know that they survived. And that's what makes them winners, because they made it. And thank goodness for Frank Gore, because he is amazing. He is.
So somebody was joking, and it may not be a joke. I mean, you never know, this 49ers team, you never know what they might do, but his son is going to be in the draft next year.
Oh,
so so they're saying, did they bring him in so that him and that scouting group can keep a close eye on his son, just in case, he turns out to, be a little bit better. He's pretty good. He's not Gore, but he's pretty good. And he's also stayed healthy. So that's really good. So that's what a lot of people were, like, I saw a couple of tweets and they're like, what if he's just here to say his son here?
But Dallas did that in this last draft.
I sure did. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
and that father was able to call his son and let him know that he was getting drafted too, didn't he? I forget the name.
That was so awesome.
That was really
also,
like the coolest moment that I will give Dallas credit for, but that's about it.
Right. That's all they get. Pittsburgh also did that with Porter. They Porter Jr. So his dad got to. I was kind of nervous there for a minute. I thought some team was going to do something dirty and take him, because the announcers kept saying that. It's like, oh no, I think this may be where Porter comes off the board, and let's hope not or whatever. But I'm glad that he wound up going there, so we can, That was kind of made me nervous for a minute. I'm like, don't tell me a team's gonna take him. Come on, man, don't do that.
Yeah, it's definitely been a very exciting week. First week, definitely getting closer and closer to the regular officiating season. Definitely a lot of different input to follow through with every week, as when these guys are coming out to the field and putting in their best work, and hopefully that's what they continue to do, because that's what we'd like to see. And I'm just really hoping for the best for these guys, and we could put together a 53-man roster, projections, and kind of have a good feeling of who will be on that spot. But there's so many different people, and we have no problem with the team that we had now, what we're working with from last year, and just hope that we can add to it, and just hope that this is going to be the season, because I feel it. And I may not have been a 49er fan for as long as many other people have, but you could definitely sense that there is something as far as what this team is providing and showing and proving in comparison to the many years that we've watched them struggle. It's definitely incredible. And it just kind of gives you chills when you start thinking about it, because when you're just such a fan and just invest so much spirit and heart into this team, and not just buying the gear, but when you're talking about him, when you're lucky enough to go to a game, or even simply sitting there watching the game with friends or family, it's very fascinating and very interesting, because, it almost makes you want to cry, and I don't want to cry, because, you watch this team and you're just like, for a long time when the team sucked, and then you're finally seeing these guys are just becoming this brotherhood of, this team that that the Niners can be.
Mm-hmm.
they're putting in this effort, and it's just incredible. And it's just hard not to think that these guys aren't going to get that ring. And
Right.
despite if they do or don't, it doesn't make you any less of a fan. There's just something about this team that you could just sense. There's something that's going to happen this year, and it's going to be for the greater good for this team, because they're in a well-deserved situation for this something very special to happen.
And then another thing that's crazy is like I still stand behind it. If Brock hadn't got hurt, we would have beat Philly and we would have had that Super Bowl, because I know the type of defense we have, and we were given, like, our defense was giving Philly problems before they got worn out with all the 3 and outs, the craziness going on and the picks and all that stuff like that. That was ours last year. That's another reason why that I'm really confident about this year, because Philly got lucky. They got really lucky.
They admitted it on their podcast. If you listen to the Kelsey Brothers podcast,
I know my
Brock
son's
Purdy
an Eagles fan. Yeah, I know.
They were like, we felt bad that the game was going how it was going. Not that we felt bad at the end, but
yeah, because like we were making Jalen Hurts look mortal. Mm-hmm. My son was screaming at the TV, talking about, we should have traded you. I knew we should have traded you. Whatever. I can't believe you're out there looking this stupid. So he was getting mad, you know what I'm saying? And then Brock is hurt, and this kind of goes from there. But we would have definitely won last year. Yeah. Like we definitely would have won. So that's why, like, I just know this is our year. Philly dodged one.
They know it too,
and they didn't get it done, and that's going to be their biggest, mistake was not winning one, because they will not be back, not now. So it'll be totally different when we face them, even in the regular season when we face them. It's just going to be totally different. This defense is special.
A slew of players. They're both their coordinators. I mean,
absolutely.
they were the Super Bowl. Yeah. Bloodletting happened. Yeah.
Philly, one thing about Philly, my son hates this. I hope he's not watching. I don't know if he is or not, but I sent him the link, but that don't mean he's going to watch it. He didn't say okay, so maybe he's not, but they still have not, like, been able to replace Hargrave. Like, they're literally talking about that, like, all over the place. And even my son's like, I mean, I still can't believe that you guys, like, got him. Like, I can't. So no matter what they have, he's so special that they still not, with all of the players they got, the rookies, all that, whatever they got or whatever, they still have not been able to replace him. We took a huge piece from them.
Oh, yeah,
I'm glad that we got him too.
A very big cog.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And they're going to feel it when they play us too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be so exciting to look forward to, just to see how it all plays into. Oh my gosh, that's incredible. And when your defense is already scary, and then you add something even scarier to that already scary, it's just like, oh gosh, we're our own worst nightmare some days. But when it comes to the defense and other teams, all I want to know is how many quarterbacks is our defense going to smack up this year? Because I'm looking forward to it. Nicely, I'm not wishing for any injuries. Just make them tired. That's all.
I just
want to go back to the comment. You pulled up John's comment about Sam
going to
being needed in Cincinnati. No, we play them. We do not need this guy that's going to play against our defense in practice all year. They'll
be able to. No.
We'll not have that. No.
We'll send him Brendan Allen.
Right,
we'll send him off. We'll send him back in somewhere else.
Yeah, which is what I thought. I figured Cincinnati, and they may still call the 49ers and just have that conversation with them, like,
right. Hey, absolutely,
that's gonna be your 4th string, right? So
now we're gonna get
send them back to us.
Yeah.
What's exciting about this year? Just all in pure sport and pure fun, and I mean it kindly and because I can't think of anything else. But Jimmy Garoppolo, this year we're not going to be having to complain about his bad issues with the Niners, but we can make fun of him with the Raiders. I'm sitting here wondering, how many times is that man going to get picked off this year wearing the black? 'cause that's going to be fun to watch. And as long as he's not in the red, I'm all right.
Listen, he passed the physical. We got a third round.
Right. We
Right.
got another
Okay.
compensation. Right.
Yep.
Yeah. The crazy thing is that division he's in is so scary. I mean, you got the Sean Payton Broncos, because I'm Wilson, that's Sean Payton's team. Sean Payton Broncos. Then you have the Chargers.
Yep.
And the Chiefs. I mean,
Yeah.
good luck with that, buddy.
No doubt.
I am going to
What is
honestly
the
be
goal?
mad if he ends up performing better as a quarterback with the Raiders than he ever did with the Niners. That would be very upsetting to witness because it almost would make you want to go, stand in that long line just to look at the film. Like, how dare you?
Smack the shit out of
Like,
When he played well for us, he played well.
Yeah.
I mean, Jimmy had flashes of brilliance, but then there were always those
Yeah.
ducks. I was just like, oh, here it comes. Jimmy's gonna throw the duck.
He so apparently from what I'm hearing, Devontae Adams is still not, happy. Because he knows, like anybody else knows. I mean, there's actually people that are like talking about like where should we draft Devontae Adams in fantasy? What should we do? Whatever. Because they literally went out and got like expatriates, that are used to, like the short passing game and that kind of
The
stuff
dinky
or
duck.
whatever. Right. Dinky duck. And so, Adams, of course, is so it's going to be very interesting. Even like our practices our joint practices, I can't wait. I was saying on Nitty Gritty, that is going to be funny because our defense has wanted to get at him, I'm sure, for so long.
This is for that.
For making them
missing
so
Kittle
tired
over
all the damn time, all the 3.5.
Missed him wide open. Damn it.
I think that's why the Raiders are going to be very precautious about when it comes to that game because
Of
I
course.
highly doubt that they're going to they should put Jimmy out there, but I highly doubt they're going to put him out there because they know he's in for a beating. He's in for a definite beating.
He is definitely
He gets a
asked
few
for it.
first quarter snaps and that's it. He's out.
Last year with the Chargers, when he was throwing picks and they were like making fun of him and stuff, like it's like and the Chargers defense is not even close to being on the level that this defense is. And just to look across and see that he's that's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to just see the joint practices, like just to watch the stuff coming from the joint practices. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's going to definitely be a lot of fun.
I don't know. All I see is the R. Kelly meme, behind the tree, right?
Mhm.
Here I come.
Yep.
Is there any other fascinating news you ladies would like to share? Anything that you're looking
No.
anything fascinating or interesting or something positive you give a fan base to look forward to or special messages, shout outs?
I just want our players to continue to be healthy. You look around the league, man, there's a lot of crazy stuff happening. I just would like for our players to just, take caution and stay healthy. I would love for them to come out and, for us to, for once, it's been so long to just start out week 1 with, everyone.
Everyone healthy and hold that line.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Just
That'd be great.
just to be
Yeah.
healthy, to not have no serious, nothing, everything, just to kind of do that. We have a great staff of people. They're keeping an eye on a lot of things. Technology is a little bit better now. So I hope that will, also help to keep us healthy. They're going to start making cuts. What is it? What's the first cut? 90 to whatever, something like that, something to 90 or something like that. Anyway, when they do, there's always going to be a surprise.
Yeah.
Every year there's like a huge boom. It just happens and it's somebody or a trade. It would not surprise me if a running back didn't get traded.
Yeah.
There's a lot of running backs
Well, I was gonna say our cupboard is very full.
Right. We have
and it would not be.
running
Look,
backs.
We've got these guys. We pull them in. We train them up, and they're not gonna. That roster is deep in the running back.
Yes.
So if we have a guy that's now year 2, year 3, that's gotten some good play time, that's quality,
Yes.
proven himself. He's a great trade capital. You know, we didn't pay anything for him because he got him as a free agent.
Exactly.
That's it. And now
Mhm.
he's worth a whatever, a fifth, a sixth,
Yeah.
something, right? So
Yep.
we're getting a trade, draft value out of him. So
I mean, it would not surprise me. We always like mid-season, we always grab something. It seems to be our mantra. So I would say that we are definitely going to probably make a trade before the season starts. We had traded some defensive players, I think, last year. I think it's going to be offensive players this year. I think that we're going to shove off a running back. some running back, because we all know that all the teams line up in a row to see who the 49ers are going to let go.
exactly. The buzzards circle.
Right, exactly. Just like buzzards. That's what they do. They wait to see the carcass is going to be left.
Who are the Niners
when
going
it's
to
all
have
over.
to get rid of? It's a matter of who are they going to have to get rid of, because we have to, like everyone else.
Yeah.
Can't keep
no choice,
everybody.
unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's
Do we
going
see
to
the
be.
Niners cutting Ross Dwelly? I know it went from a running back to tight end, but Ross Dwelly, he's not my favorite player, but I've watched him and he's done a couple of different things. And is he going to be a cut that we're going to notice this year before the roster comes out?
I was going to say, that's a Jess question. She's all about the tight ends.
Yeah.
Him and Charlie Warner gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
That helps.
It's about time, because to me, I mean, that's played, man. Just let him see if he can bring some value to some other team. enough of Dwelly.
Absolutely. And, we have a couple of different prospects that they've picked up on the offseason, and it's kind of, want to be able to see these guys. Like that Cameron Latu, it seems like he's doing wonders. And Braden Willis, it seems like, the team might be liking him a little bit.
Yeah.
So, and then Troy, what's the name? Troy Fumagalli.
Mm-hmm.
Do we see the team still continuing to keep him? He's definitely the veteran, and he doesn't seem to be coming up with anything bad, but it gets, are the Niners going to be doing one solid cut, or are they going to be doing a couple of cuts? Because the last thing I read, they were going to be making one giant cut, like the very last day of.
Oh, really? They're not going to split it up?
I was going to say, usually it's a phased approach.
Yeah.
Usually it's like from 90 to 81, and then from 81
something
to
like that,
53, something crazy like that.
Okay.
Yeah. The first, I just always look at it, like the first ones are like when you get nicked on your hand or something. And then, the next ones start to leave like a small bruise. And then the last one, the 53, there's always somebody in there, and you're like, no!
Ow,
That's how you just slice yourself. There's always something. God, it's always someone who you're like, oh, really?
Yeah, David McNiners.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Rule. Okay, I didn't know.
Oh, so they just ripped the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Push you right out of the airplane.
All right.
Hi.
Dang.
That's going to be exciting.
Okay.
That's definitely.
Wow.
I'd imagine everybody going live that day.
Oh,
They're gonna have
everybody's
like a whole
gonna be
NFL show. I bet. Like they'll turn that
Oh
into a
my
whole
goodness.
cut day.
Yeah, he just ripped it. Just rip it right on off with hair and all. Just. Psh.
There's all.
Okay. Oh man.
Well, I definitely want to thank you, ladies, for joining, and thank you everybody in the chat for tuning in. We do appreciate you finding us and liking and subscribing to us and enjoying your time with us. And we enjoy everybody tuning in with us as we talk about our favorite team, and we try to keep it positive, and not everybody here has to agree with each other, but it is nice to know that we can be classy when we're sharing our opinions and be able to express our opinions, even if it's not the same opinion as everybody else. It's always fun because at the end of the day, we all remember we're all fans. We're all enjoying the same team and looking forward to the best outcome that's going to be possible for our 49ers. And do we have any final thoughts, ladies?
Pads come out on Monday. Let's start evaluating then. Go Niners.
Nice.
Our guy Matt's son got a kidney last week finally. So
Congratulations!
prayers for Maddie's son, and
Yep.
there's lots of ways to help and
That's
take
great.
care of him. So yeah, Maddie's boy got his kidney, so keep him in his prayers. Yep, in your prayers.
Absolutely. I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. You guys were great. Seems like there was different people this time, which is fantastic. We're trying to get the word out, man. We're trying to get the word out so that everybody will watch Lazy Empire when we're on. I'm loving Saturday. This is great. Like, this is where it's at right here. Because I had to rush home from work and everybody of that stuff. Like, I'm just here. So I'm very, very excited about that. But like I said earlier, to reiterate, like, just prayers for, the players and the team to just stay healthy, to stay in one piece and all compete. And at the end of the day, no matter who the 53 are, just like Tony said, it's going to be the best of the best. That's definitely going to be there. So it's one thing about it is they know who they want out there, and whoever is going to bring us 6, man, I just feel so good about it this year. So I'm very, very excited about it. Very excited about seeing them in pads. What's Kyle's thing he said is you never know how people look until they get in pads. So they're about to get in pads, and we're about to see what's what.
It's about to go down.
And everybody, don't forget to check out Wayne Breezy, where you can find a lot more of Crystal PGB. Also check out East Coast Red and Gold, where you'll find not only Jess, but you'll find your girl Bex there as well. Great panel on both shows. So make sure you subscribe to their channel to find out when all their great content will be airing. And definitely a special thanks to Maddie B for being very generous on raffling off 2 of his season tickets to the preseason game that my husband and I will graciously be accepting. That my lovely husband picked with his favorite number 3. We have my aunt and my cousins. We're going to be meeting up. I reached out to my aunt because she had let me know that they're actually going to a preseason game, and I wanted to find out which one will happen. So to be that one, she's only 2 sections away from us. So we're meeting up for the Red Zone rally before the game, and then we're going to go to our seats and just enjoy the game together. And
that's great.
We're going to make a day of it, and we've got my babysitter in line. So it's definitely going to be a lot of fun. And definitely prayers to little Jameson and, his kidney. May it continue to be something great for the little man's health, and he gets stronger and be able to be the great little man that he's going to be and enjoy being a kid without having to go through too many hospital trips or feeling sick, because I believe all kids should be able to feel like being a kid, and however big or small, it's being a kid. And thank you everybody for tuning in, and we are definitely looking forward to seeing you next week. And until then, go Niners, and as David McNiner would say, F those lambs, because we're coming with the brooms.
Right.
Niners.
Awesome.
And and maybe for the Seahawks too, but we'll see how that goes.
Oh yeah, I forgot one thing. Breezy and I have a fantasy show that's going to be starting, a fantasy football show that we're going to do weekly. That is going to be starting up or whatever. So we'll know more about when pretty soon. I think we're going to try to work on it next week so we can get a target date. But we're going to be bringing you guys a fantasy show. So just
that's going to be awesome.
Tuning in to @Wayne Breezy. It's just @the Wayne Breezy. It's just that simple to find him on YouTube. And as soon as I get more information about it, then I'll let everyone know.
Whoop, whoop.
Excellent.
Cool.
@Wayne Breezy, East Coast Red and Gold, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Tony Culp's channel. And everybody, thank you again. Go Niners, and have a great rest of your Saturday night.
Yes.
Enjoy the outro.